What up? I'm Jay.
And I'm John.
And today we review Malibu's Most Wanted, 4Reelz.
Directed by John Whitesell, starring Regina Hall, Jamie Kennedy, Anthony Anderson, and Taye Diggs. This movie is about an aspiring rapper known as B-Rad, who happens to be the son of a politician in the middle of a campaign. And his campaign manager comes up with a plan to have B-Rad kidnapped and brought to the hood to scare him straight. Because right now his dad just doesn't accept him and thinks that his gangster ways is ruining his image.
Now what's dope about this movie?
I'm kicking out with the cast. Jamie Kennedy is just one of those actors who I think a lot of people don't appreciate. And I strangely enjoy a lot of his films. I happen to enjoy Kicking It Old School, Romeo and Juliet, even The Sands. Oh, and Scream.
Randy, my boy!
So like, seeing him in this film is nice, but like Anthony Anderson, Regina Hall, they just do a good job.
Anthony Anderson is one of the best, and he shows up in a lot of movies as some random role, and he always kills it. Him and Taye Diggs were probably my favorite part of this movie because they're the black guys that are not gangster trying to act gangster, and it's absolutely hilarious. Anthony Anderson is obviously the better actor of the two, but Taye Diggs is trying his damnedest and failing on all fronts almost.
Give me a ride, punk, or I will dust your ass at a biatch, and I think you got it.
The way that they're acting is so over the top that you know that someone stupid as B-Rad would absolutely believe them, and sure enough, he did. I don't know how. Well, because he's from Malibu and had no concept of what gangsters are really like, and neither did this hired duo, but like, they made it work.
Then you have B-Rad's posse. I wish we could have seen more of them. I would have loved to see more of like gangster Calpet.
Your mama's so poor that your tits are real.
I didn't like them, but it is worth addressing that I'd love to stop getting comments comparing me to Nick Swardson just because he is also a mid-30s guy or early 40s guy wearing a baseball hat doesn't mean we look the same. For the record, he's the one in the early 40s, I'm the mid-30s guy.
We're gonna bounce back to our respective cribs, jack our mom and dad's biggest gats, and save his ass. Work!
As cringy as a lot of the jokes and moments were, there were some things that I did find myself laughing at. It's just, if you grew up in the early 2000s and listened to rap music, this is essentially what you saw. So going back to it, it is funny, but also very cringy.
It's a lot more cringy when you were a rapper in those days too, I'll be honest. I won't say that I dressed exactly like B-Rad here, but there were definitely similarities. I wore do-rags, I had braids, I wore velour suits, I wore a lot of pink clothes at this time because Cameron, you know.
We had matching outfits. I had the baby blue and he had the pink.
It was cringy and we know it. You're supposed to be cringing, but not as much as you cringe in 2021 watching this shit.
You know Dre? Hell yeah, I know Dre.
For Rizal?
For Brazil.
Yo, holla at him for me.
But I will say, it did make me realize how upset I am that spinners are not a thing in these days. Back in the day, spinners were the best. You got an Escalade, you got spinners. I mean, even John Cena threw a spinner on the goddamn WWE Championship.
We need exhibit.
Yeah, we need to pimp some stuff. We need more pimping of stuff these days.
You need to keep your pimp hands strong.
It's subtle, but I liked the Malibu puns that were throughout this film, especially Jamie Kennedy's rap album, Malibu Taye. And that's exactly the type of CD cover that we would have made.
I was a mixtape designer also at the time, and I definitely made stuff for rappers that looked exactly like this. Usually less booties. Actually, no, the same amount of booties, but it was all Vida Guerrera at the time. She was like the only model with like, that was kind of popular with cutouts on the internet because I was learning how to use Photoshop. And so every single mixtape cover had Vida Guerrera on it. I don't even know who that is, to be honest. I just remember her from like Maxim. She was known as like a video vixen, even though I don't even think she was in that many videos. It was weird. Old school rap days, crazy back then, man. Just throw some Master P type bling font on it and you're good. It comes with the times, but this soundtrack bangs. Every song that played was awesome. They had some nice Run DMC throwback moments as we see B-Rad kind of growing up listening to rap music and being inspired. It was definitely enjoyable. Like every track that came on, me and John just looked at each other like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And we felt so fucking weird doing it. We're cringing at each other at the same time while cringing at the movie. There's a lot of cringe going on. It was wild. But also a little bit of nostalgia, so that was nice. nice.
Oh, Tree, I gotta cut him. You don't gotta cut him? Bloodbath, don't cut him. We can't get our money.
I haven't mentioned it, but I liked Regina Hall in this film. I liked the story that came with Regina Hall and Jamie Kennedy's character because you got that like two opposites that just happened to attract.
Of all the mommies that I've been with, you the finest.
I felt like they did a good job developing her character to make you like feel the sympathy. Like you want to see her succeed. You want to see her fall in love with Jamie Kennedy. And spoiler alert, it happens.
Do we need spoiler alerts? It's like 20 fucking years later. Oh, shout out to Snoop Dogg, who for some reason was a little rat.
What?
Now look here, man. I'm up out of here. I gotta go see my lady. She's a breeder rat at Petco.
This film was riddled with a lot of cameos though. I mean, between Bo Derek being the mom, we talked about Cal Penn and Greg Grunberg.
These aren't cameos when they're like regular roles, and at the time they're not really popular people either.
It's happy to see them now.
It is good to see them now. And Terry Crews.
How do you forget Terry? If he didn't dance, there would have been a dislike 100%.
Down with the bitches and hoes.
I'ma vote for him.
As we cringe, we'll move on to what's whack. But before that, let's hit him with the oh snap moment of the day.
You trying to get votes out of this? I'm trying to win, Bill, and you don't seem to care. I'm his father. Since when?
Oh, snap!
Now, what's whack about this movie? I gotta say, I hated the comedy. I did not like B-Rad as a character. He was annoying as fuck, and it drove me nuts.
I ain't seen you around here before. Where you reside?
I like Jamie Kennedy. He did a great job as this character, and at the time I probably ate this shit up and loved it. But now it does not hold weight for me.
Just something about this film was just, it was too cringy. The part in the club when he was on the stage rapping, I just almost wanted to leave the room.
Sorry, y'all, but I'm feeling straight figure. The boost #1, hardcore nigga!
I also remembered more like 8 Mile references. Like 8 Mile was really popular at the time, and that's like, this came out right after, I'm pretty sure. I think part of my dislike for this film is the fact that I thought this was Scary Movie.
Scary Movie 3.
And I was just like, when's this scene happening? I mean, I don't really like those movies now, but I expected certain moments to happen that didn't. I know that's a weird thing to say in a film review of Malibu's Most Wanted, but you know,
I get it. You see Regina Hall. She's in Scary Movie franchise.
And with Randy being at the forefront as B-Rad, there's a lot of like 6 degrees of separation going on with this movie. But something else that I hoped would happen were more cameos. Yes, we're seeing actors that are now famous, but for being a rapper in Malibu going to Compton, the fact that the only rapper cameo that we have is Snoop Dogg as a mouse and they couldn't get like other actual rappers to be involved in the production is saying something and sucks.
Don't be hating.
I'd rather eat garbage than listen to your tired ass rhymes.
At the time, I'm sure this didn't matter, but there's definitely a lot of dated jokes and dated situations in this film that if you watch now, you will probably be offended.
Well, I mean, the whole concept of trying to get the black out of Jamie Kennedy's character is fucking racist in its own right.
It might just scare the black out of him.
Excuse me?
Ooh.
Not to mention Cal Penn bringing like an RPG because he got it from his Uncle Ahmed.
Christmas present from Uncle Ahmed.
Now it's time for the lowdown. I didn't really like this movie at all, and it was almost hard to watch. I think Jamie Kennedy did a good job as B-Rad, but I hated B-Rad as a character. Regina Hall killed it, and Anthony Anderson and Taye Diggs did an excellent job, and while the concept is funny and fun, the comedy just doesn't hold up. I don't really know how to quantify my dislikes. In general, is not something that I would want to watch again. There are some fun moments, but like as a whole, it's just not that enjoyable. So I'm gonna give this 1 convenience store security system out of 5.
Young me had a blast watching this movie. Middle-aged me has a different take on it. It's not that I don't appreciate the humor. It's not that I don't appreciate what they're doing. It's just, it's so dated that it's awkward. It should have stayed on the shelf as a memory. And it sucks because I love the cast. This is one of those films that does not hold up. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 2 video game systems I wish I owned out of 5.
Nah, I got Gamecast. Gamecast? Well, there's GameCube and then there's Dreamcast. What you got?
Well, I said I got Gamecast, man. Damn, I can't afford it.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything 4Reelz.